Okay, welcome to the Let's Enjoy Piano Self-Expression Method. If you haven't picked up the book yet, there it is, a practical guide, useful toolbox for innovative developing your self-expression, which through improvisation, accompaniment, jamming, and memorize as you play, plurality, and melody centering, which we're going to do today. Page 44A. If you have the book, 44A has the 3 rules of melody centering, melody's relationship to the chord, and you want to get in more depth, I have the quick reference guide too. It's a nice guide for lead sheet playing. It goes through 700 possibilities for each of the 12 melody notes and chords, and it's laid out by chord and by melody note. So you got the chord and the melody note on one page. Charts, if you're a good reader, you can just look up the chord you need and the melody note pertaining to the chord, and it's an excellent guide to getting you nice full voicings at the piano. As for Somewhere, we're going to look at West Side Story's Somewhere, great tune by Bernstein and Sondheim. So Leonard Bernstein, the composer, used the 3 positions in the first line of Somewhere. Okay, so the melody note, the melody note's relationship to the chord is the key. Knowing if you have the book, obviously you know page 3, the components of each family, the root, third, and fifth of each family has to be known. Page 10 are all the shapes, the visualization skills of the major, minor, and diminished chords. So page 3, page 10. And then there's a section on lead sheet playing, and then there's a section on plurality. We're going to give you an overview of a little bit of everything here. So that when we look at a piece of music, the first thing to do is just get familiar with the chords and see what position they're in depending on the melody note. So, B flat is the first chord, but Leonard Bernstein chose the root as the melody. You can choose the root, the third, the fifth. Those are the first 3 choices. Usually they go with the root, third, or fifth as your first choice. You can choose a non-chord tone, but then it usually will fall to a chord tone. If it's a non-chord tone, it will fall to a chord tone. That's called an appoggiatura, and it leans into a chord tone. But this line is all on the chords. That's on page 44, regular 44 appoggiatura, explain about tension and relaxation of a chord progression. So, this is all on the chord. So here's your B flat chord, here's your melody note, B flat. And you can play it with a thumb. Or when the chord and the melody note is the root of the chord, you can play first inversion. Because first inversion puts the root at the top. So there's, and the next chord is B flat 7. But we look at the top 3 notes, that's the triad involved, which is D diminished. If you know your D minor, here's D diminished. So that's in root position. So that has to be, the melody note is A flat, so you have to have it in root position. It's the only way you can't have D diminished in any inversion, because you hear the top note, that's the melody note. So you could play it with your thumb and lean into the rest of the B flat 7 chord. B flat 7. Or you can play first inversion and come up to the D diminished. So D diminished is in root position. So the 5th note is the melody, the 5th note of the chord, root, third, 5. So if you're on 44A, you'll see a 5 RP. 5 RP means 5th note is the melody, root position. You'll see an R1. That's the root is the melody, so R is the root, 1 is the position, first inversion. That's what R1 is. 5 RP is a root position with the 5th in the melody. The last position is the 3rd in the melody. Here's an E flat chord. Leonard Bernstein didn't pick the root, he didn't pick the 5th, he picked the 3rd. So that's the 3rd, and the formula is 3-2. In other words, the 3rd note is the melody, the 3rd of the chord, so it's second inversion. Or half a chord. 2 means half a chord. Okay, so you have the three positions: first inversion, root position, half, and A flat, half of an A flat, because you have the C as the melody. Then there's an F minor with a fifth in the melody, so it has to be root position. It goes to a B flat, first inversion, and back to E flat, half a chord, and half a chord, A flat. Okay, so those three positions, if you get down 44A, R1, 5 RP, 3 2. R1, 5 RP, root position. It's not flipped around, it's root position, half a chord, 3 2. Root position, first inversion, B flat, half a chord. Now that's all harmonic. The middle part, or the second line, we can play these notes linearly, one at a time. It kind of goes through a B flat 7 chord. There's the D diminished that we had from the top line, and the melody goes. So here it's playing the chord tones, but the non-chord tones are E flat and G. And that's the 3 to 2 split. For a melody, there's usually 80%, 70% chord tones, and 30%, 20% non-chord tones. So here's the melody, here's the chords, and here's the chord tones, and the other notes are. So these are the two non-chord tones. So far on the first line, we've had 100% chord tones, all on the chord. I threw in some non-chord tones so you can hear the difference when you mix in non-chord tones with chord tones. Now here he does that on the second line. And then back to G minor, half a chord, half a C minor, half an A flat, half a D flat, and then that's an appoggiatura. It goes into a B flat. This doesn't belong, E flat does not belong to a B flat chord, but it falls into the D of the B flat. Okay, so if you get those positions down, you should be able to play this in a couple weeks by just getting positioning. Just get a lead sheet. This is the key. It was written in E flat, and you have all the chords within range of the key. No modulation until we get down here. Then we go into a different key, and then the second part is extension chords, which we'll take out another time. But the first part, root, first inversion, root position, half, root position, first inversion, half, linear, half G minor, half an A flat, and that's where we're kind of modulating into another key there. D flat doesn't appear in E flat, but now we go to B flat minor. That's another chord that we're going to move on to. We're going to move on to another part of the song, which we're not going to do tonight. So we have just that last part with the appoggiatura. Okay, and we'll take up the second part at a later date. Okay, so I hope that helps you out. Go to the website. If you want online lessons, you can look me up. All the information is on the website. Any questions, email me at email@letsenjoypiano.com. Subscribe to the channel. That always helps. And so you can see the new uploads I have. And get in contact with me. Or go to the website, pick up a copy of the book, and then you can follow along with the lessons. Okay, hope that helps you. Take care, and we'll pick it up the next time around. We'll try to do the middle part of this. It's quite complicated, but This will keep you busy for a while. Okay, thank you very much.